everybody, SonGoshuaku here, and welcome to this podcast review for WWE WrestleMania 36 Night 1. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button followed by hitting the notification bell so that way you are notified as soon as my content is released. And joining me, please welcome, been a while since I've had these guys on here, Themann0001, and our other guest. He wants to do his own introduction.
What type of introduction was that, SonGoshuaku? Let me tell you how to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, YouTube has brought to you today our very own fans of the World Wrestling Entertainment of the World. The man of Eddie voices, SonGoshuaku, the man 0001, and SMP 2390 in the WrestleMania Day 1 review.
There we go. Clearly we can see SMP is a huge New Age Outlaws fan. But yeah, let's go ahead and start off with these shows here. All right, so the pre-show, Drew Gulak versus Cesaro. I admit I have actually not seen this match yet. So if any of you two want to fill in, how was this match?
I only saw a little bit of it because I was like busy trying to get the network. Only $9.99 to do it a month, but I was trying to get it so I could view it. But from what I heard from others, it was okay. It could have been better, which kind of upset me that it could have been better because these two guys are very good, especially Cesaro. Since he's good and he's comfortable in that match. But from what I heard, it was very pretty good. I'm sorry for anybody that expected me to see it. I'm sorry, but Lord, the man, what did you think?
Yeah, what did you think of it? Did you see the pre-show match?
What did I think about Drew Gulak versus Cesaro? I thought it was a pretty solid match. You know what I mean? It's just pretty solid match, pretty decent thing. Something to get the people at home going because there's no crowd there. So yeah, something to get the people going and something to definitely get this show started. So I mean, honestly, I wish that would have made it on a main card or something if I had it my way. But we all don't get.
I want to commend Drew Gulak. I like to commend Drew Gulak on his grappling technique because his technique was pretty good. The last pay-per-view he was in, the one with
Daniel Bryan, that match
with Daniel
really
Bryan, that one was very good and stuff. So I kind of like it. I hope that they do more with them. I hope that they do more with the cruiserweights and stuff because I'm looking at it and I see due to they
are, dude. They're totally not gonna do anything more with the. There's even talks of 205.
I know, but due to the recent events, you see people the one that Alexa Vega, I believe.
Zelina Vega.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
But hey, no, honestly, we spent a lot of time on the pre-show. Let's get to the main card. So I'll say one of the things for the intro this year, you usually have someone singing America the Beautiful. We don't have that for obvious reasons this year. So I really like the whole montage WWE put together on that when it came down to just showing everyone a good, clever way to show those who have sang it throughout the years. And I thought the intro was awesome. The really pirate theme, the cool pirate theme that they've had for all this would have been really cool to. I saw a little conception of whatever the stage would have looked like with a big old skull with swords in it and a wreckage ship and stuff like that. Would have been cool stuff. So I thought that was really good. And I'll just get on to our first match we had here was the Kabuki Warriors defending their women's tag team championships against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. WWE over the last several months just really did not do much at all with these women's tag team titles. But overall, though, I'm glad to see Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss take the titles. Would have been good if they booked Asuka to be even more stronger, but that is what it is. Steve or SMP and the Man 0001, we were actually watching a group of friends via Google Hangouts, and you brought up a good point. that you really love how they develop Nikki Cross' character going past that crazy woman, going past just a crazy woman into a person that was more humanized. And I really think it's done her career really good. It's allowed her to show more of her personality off. I thought the match overall was pretty good for an opening. It would have been great, much better, obviously, if they had a crowd. But yeah, good for Alexa and Nikki Cross. They get a lot of TV time, so hopefully when things go back to normal, hopefully they'll actually get a legit run with the titles, because I think they had a pretty good run last time. That's pretty much all I got to say about this match. SMP, anything you want to add on?
Yes, like you said, I really commend Nikki Cross for selling and carrying most the match, at least in her team. She was carrying a lot, and I kind of liked it. I kind of liked a bit of the flow of it. The only things I didn't like is that the fact of that there wasn't much too much enthusiasm with the others and stuff. And I don't like how they gave the women tag titles, but they're not utilizing the tag teams. But they're not utilizing the tag teams on the men's side too. But they're not utilizing the tag team titles on the women's side, and it's supposed to be this big old women revolution. They're not even acknowledging that the titles are actually crossable with the brands. So the tag titles could go to an NXT, SmackDown, Raw. It could actually go through those brands. So like I said, once they take this break, I hope that they do a lot of stuff differently with the creatives and stuff and bringing that up, because I feel there should be more than 4 tag teams in this company. All that you highlighted was the Kabuki Warriors, Iconics, Mandy and Sonya, and then you have Nikki.
And I'll just add on,
Alexa.
I don't even think the Iconics even got highlighted. They won, and that was it.
No, they didn't get highlighted. They just held the titles because, after they Sasha and Bailey freaking jobbed out for the titles, and then Sasha left a little bit to take a break. You never really saw anything from the Iconics with the titles again. They just gave it to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and then afterwards, after I believe one of the reviewers from the Western community, BC Amplify, said after AEW gave their women's title to a Japanese wrestler, Reno, they went off and they gave the titles to the Kabuki Warriors. So, like I said, they really need to step up their game, because if they don't step up the game, a lot of these other organizations, they're going to take your blueprint and they're going to do it way better, because they're going to listen to the fans, because they can afford to listen to the fans. So, yeah, I would say it was a decent match. It was an okay match. They gave the titles to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, but they need to do better. They need to do better with Kairi, Zayn, and Asuka. Yeah, they need to do better with them. They really need to revolutionize the women division, really, with all the titles and with all the people without the titles. They really need to give these people storylines, because it takes more than just giving them belts.
I agree. Definitely, they definitely should be able to. Before we move on to the next match, Man 0001, anything you want to add on about this women's tag team title match?
I saw the match. It was decent. It's decent, decent match right here. Decent opener for the official show. Nothing to write home about. It's just but what the women in the match did work their asses off though.
Oh yeah.
And they did put a big effort, They did put up a big effort, However, this match right here didn't have much, didn't have nothing, didn't have much anything special in it. It came off as a pretty old school looking title match, women's tag team title match. And I'm not saying that old school, like the Divas era old. No, I'm saying
I wish it was old school. The Divas era is old school.
Yeah, well. That's it. Well, it was just more so. It was more so how women worked in the '80s. Like how they worked in Glow and stuff, like Low and Wow and stuff like that. It's kind of a throwback to that, but it was just like, it was nothing special or, to write home about. Nothing really
It's interesting that you say that, because most of the competitors really looked up to women like that in that match.
Yeah, but it's just but it's nothing like, it's nothing revolutionary in the match, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, you take a minute, you look at the match, and you're like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. The match served its purpose. Yeah, transitioned the titles off the Kabuki Warriors, who had a pretty decent run. Like, how long were they champions for?
They were champions for a good while, but they never really defended the titles. That's the thing.
Exactly.
They took a big break for the whole Becky Lynch and Asuka reign.
The length of the title run, like when you're
they had it for several months.
Your goal,
they had it going back to last fall.
Yeah, so when you're champion, your goal is to be the champion for the long, for as long as possible, and they did do that. So I'm just saying it's a decent run in terms of the length. I'm not saying that they went ahead and they had this captivating run.
I mean, yeah, the length was good, but I also look at the utilization. It wasn't like they was using them much.
But yeah,
So it's like,
and this right here proves, what I mean. This right here shows that that these championships, these women's tag titles, be more than just placeholders for women's tag teams. It actually needs to be something that's taken seriously.
It needs to be an actual division. Like I said, they only have four tag teams in the whole country.
Agreed, definitely. I think we all made good points. We'd like to see them utilized more. Let's move on to the next match: King Corbin versus Elias. Honestly, this match just felt like a regular match you would see on SmackDown in terms of the build-up, but it was until towards the end, though. Everybody's already made fun of it with Mortal Kombat, the Lion King, where he hit Elias off the platform, and they took full advantage of no audiences being there to film and let him fall into a crash mat and edit it as if he was there on the concrete. I thought that added a lot to this in terms of making King Corbin more sinister. I think King Corbin's definitely come a long way as a heel, and as far as this match, nothing much to write home about, but the big thing is Elias gets his win. He finally gets a WrestleMania match, and he gets his win, thus making him technically undefeated at WrestleMania. So if anything, I'm happy to see Elias finally get a really good WrestleMania moment after basically being made to be John Cena, a fool for John Cena the past couple of segments of WrestleMania. John Cena's bitch. Since you just spoke, Mantras, I'll let you go ahead and speak up. Go ahead. Anything you want to add about the King Corbin versus Elias match?
Well, Burger King, Corbin, Mighty Kids Meal, man. Yeah, come on now. Let's see. Come on. I gave this man a lot of praise last year for being an effective heel. And, to his credit, he is an effective heel. He gets the heat. But, at the same time, it's not like, people are being captivated by his work. I mean, it's been a year since you retired Kurt Angle. And, the best thing you can do is to give, he got the king of the ring, but it's just like, after a whole bunch of tomfoolery, he gets the king of the ring. And I'm just like, dude, you have a guy here who can definitely be an effective heel. And this is what the fuck they do with him. They don't give him any kind of, they don't give him anything that makes him look strong. Like, what the hell does he do? He gives Roman Reigns damn dog food, makes him look like, makes him look like the Passion of the Christ on SmackDown, but dog food version. Come on now. This right here is some, what I mean? They should have actually given that dog food to an actual dog and then, waited for that dog to process that food. And that right there is exactly what you would get when you...
it's still PG, Lawrence. It's still PG. We can't do that. We can't.
And that's what you would... And that's right there. And right there, after the dog is done processing that food, that's what you would get. Is my thoughts exactly as to what they've done with King Corbin now, as they call him. Because Baron Corbin, they gave this man a year, and he's not going to any places right now. Elias is what they give him, and then they have Elias win the match too. Yeah, and then on top of that, when did he knock him off that thing? Wasn't that like last week?
Yep.
Yeah, that was last week.
Oh yeah, I forgot to totally put over the amazing healing powers of Elias. He's got John Cena's legit healing powers, but quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he got Triple H healing powers after being dropped out of a freaking car off a forklift
by Steve Austin.
Survivor Series
2000.
About 20 years ago.
Yeah, 2 decades ago.
Triple H must have gave him that special water. You know how on Space Jam they got Michael Jordan special stuff. Triple H must have his own special stuff. I wonder what's in that water that he be spitting out.
He's talking about that Space Jam. He got that Space Jam juice.
Yeah, he got that. Yeah, he got but Triple H's version of it. He's got that Triple H special stuff.
Nice point, Mitchell. 0-1. Oh, you finish. Go ahead. What you say?
Yeah, but this match right here was definitely a great moment for Elias. I'm glad that he finally gets some shine. You know, this man right here finally gets some shine. I mean, when did he debut this whole thing? Was it 2017? He got on the main roster. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 long years, and not only that, we didn't even know who the fuck his name was. His name was the fucking Drifter.
Yeah,
you know.
That was on NXT. Then it was Elias on
Samson.
Main roster.
And then they call him Elias Samson. Let's see, cause, you know what I mean. Normally I get, normally I'm all for giving somebody a new name, but he didn't even have a name. So they gave him a name. They named him Elias Samson, and then after that, they took the Samson out. Now his name is just Elias. But he went from a man with no fucking name to winning a match at WrestleMania. I mean, if you think about that, that's fucking, it's incredible trajectory.
After being the butt of the joke on WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, so he's been like, not just last year, for 2 years he was the butt of a joke. I mean, that's at 34 and 35, man was a butt of a joke. And he was John Cena's bitch.
Oh snap! I just realized that he got jobbed out by John Cena twice.
Yeah, so I look at him at wrestling. So I look at him. Let's see. I'm surprised when I looked at him. He didn't have on the bottom of his shoe or anywhere on his body property of John Cena, all rights reserved.
They probably would have done the same thing again this year.
It's tattooed on his lower back, like.
Oh, okay.
Lower.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't want to get into that too much, but yeah, it was great moments for Elias. He's come a long way. I hope this results in some sort of title victory for him somewhere down the line, and I hope this right here really puts him on a good trajectory for some success, because definitely that's the guy that deserves it.
Oh yeah, I think good. He could make a solid Intercontinental Champion. And then SMP, anything you want to add on about the match?
It was okay, but like he said, they gotta utilize it, because it's like literally I feel bad, because it's like it's not that Corbin doesn't do his job well. He does his job well. As you see, he could play a good bad guy. He got the expressions down for like the classic WWE bad guy. But you just don't care for him. And that's the thing. You could be good, bad, you could boo, but there's a different kind of boos. There's a boo like, oh, he's doing such a good job at being a bad guy that I can't stand him. And then there's a boo, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing here? You know that type of person that's like around you that you don't care for, you don't like, and somehow you just don't F with like his personality. You're like, why are you here? Why are you around me? Why are you here? I don't really care for you. Like, it would make my day if you're like not there. That's something like with Baron Corbin. It's like at this point anybody could be at his spot and it wouldn't change a thing. But as for the storyline, for like the build up for the match and the match itself, it was pretty good for Elias and Corbin, because they gave them a little bit of a story to go along with it, like the drop from like the tower and stuff. That was pretty decent. It got people talking. Whether it was last week, people was talking about that. So I say that you now got to advance that, because you're making the King of the Ring look like a joke, because the last King of the Ring before him was Wade Barrett, now known as Stu Barrett. And you gave Wade Barrett like the King Barrett or like Emperor Barrett, and you didn't do nothing with him until his contract was up and he left. Same thing with Baron Corbin. It's like you gave him a title of the King of the Ring. You say that he's king something. You gave him crown and the scepter, but nothing else. It's like you put him with these main guys, but nothing is really happening. It's just like when you gave the title to Jinder Mahal, you put him with these guys, but nothing's really clicking. So, you know, if you're going to give these guys some storylines, you got to make it where people going to care. Or else it's just going to be another name on the program.
Good points. Everything good points for sure. Let's all move on here now to Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Championship. So this is one of the big main featured matches that was hyped up and everything for this one. Going into it, I wasn't sure if they were gonna have some good chemistry. I was there for the Survivor Series match, and honestly, you know, at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, why are people booing over it? But then when I looked back at it on the network, I'm like, yeah, I can see why the three of them didn't click and everything. I actually was all for Shayna Baszler in the way they had her dominate in the Elimination Chamber match. I appreciate that at least they told some sort of storyline to show that Shayna had earned her title victory. I'll take that way over what they did just having Goldberg come out and Roman and say I'm next, you know. So I appreciated they did that. And I thought the build up was really good. Becky Lynch's entrance no doubt would have been awesome had they had it in the stage. They had that custom truck made for her, and then her and Shayna's work tonight in the ring that we saw, well, obviously it was filmed last week, but I thought the work was really solid in the ring. They were going at it blow to blow. Becky trying to hang with Shayna in stand-up game. The way Shayna kept trying to get the hold chokehold on Becky Lynch, and Becky trying to get her disarmor on. So I thought the match was really good, solid. And right when I thought it was about to kick into high gear towards the end, she gets another surprise pin over Shayna, kind of like what she did with Ronda last year, and Becky's reign continues. Now, I'm probably going to be in the minority with this one. I actually thought I was okay either way. If Shayna wins, I was fine. If Becky wins, I'm also okay with her getting another lengthy title reign. I know it hasn't completely set the whole world on fire in terms of the quality of matches, but I was okay with either outcome. I'm guessing WWE wants Becky to hold on to the championship, as they might be taking a off season right now until the whole pandemic is over, and probably Ronda comes back and they'll pick up where they left off. So the result for me could have gone either way, but I totally understand if everyone wanted Shayna to have her moment, and I would have been totally fine with that. So yeah, I thought this match was better than I thought it would be. So they got it out the way early, and I think it would have had a huge crowd reaction too if they had, instead of doing WrestleMania like 8 hours, waiting to this be the main event. That's all I gotta say about this match. Man 0001, what would you like to add on about this big match?
Oh boy. I'm with you. I mean, for me, I would have preferred Shayna Baszler win the match. I mean, I really would much prefer it to happen, but you know what I mean? I definitely would have, but I look at it like this, and I'm just like, man, Shayna Baszler should have won the match. But then again, you got Becky Lynch right now, who's still one of the hottest things going in the WWE, and for her, I think definitely, they made a pretty decent call here. Not the best call. I'm not going to say it's the right call or wrong call, but I will say it's a pretty okay call. And most definitely, I look at it like this. I'm just like, I hope Shayna Baszler gets that title soon. As soon as everything, opens right back up.
Good, yeah. SMP, anything you want to add on about this match?
Well, it was a bit okay, I kind of like the jacket that Becky was wearing. It was reminded me a little bit of like the style that Everly's Velez. She's a wrestler. She was, if you watched Lucha Underground, you probably know her. Her style was that style kind of matched like with her like pants and stuff. But back to like the match and relevancy, it was okay. I kind of didn't like the end of it because of the fact that I kind of wanted to see Shayna Baszler do it, and plus, like, I kind of think that if it was like any will, of course, like Becky would have gotten in flatline by Shayna Baszler because she's just a much better like striker and stuff. But as we was talking about, like, we think that and predict that Ronda Rousey's gonna come to the picture, and that's why. But I say this: it's inevitable that Shayna Baszler has to have the title be put on her. So I say you gotta build her up now. If she's not winning in this match in WrestleMania, now since she's in the main roster, you really gotta build her up. And I don't mean just like you did with Asuka. I mean you literally gotta build her up to be like this ruthless, like monster striker fighter and stuff. And then when Ronda Rousey comes by and she feels like she's like gonna be like in open arms with her friends, the other horsewomen, that's where you have to have Shayna just be like the monsters. He'll turn on Ronda, beat the crap out of her, turn on Becky, beat the crap out of her, show that she's like the cream of the crop, show Ronda, hey, you probably was a fan of this, but I legitimately was doing this and MMA while you was just coasting along and being good until you was no longer good. And this is going to be the same story as it always was. You're going to get knocked on your ass, you're going to get beaten, and you're going to go running back to your husband, and you're never going to come back here again. And it's going to be my turn. And she's going to be like, Becky, you was lucky this on WrestleMania, but that's not going to happen again. Now, not only I'm going to beat you, I'm going to punish you for making me look like a fool. And the only difference is it's not going to be in private. It's going to be in front of a whole bunch of people. That's how Shayna Baszler needs to be marketed. That's how the attitude needs to be brought on. She needs to be a monster.
I agree. Hopefully, yeah, definitely. I agree that they should book her as a monster. There's been some rumors going around that Vince McMahon might not be behind her, but I guess we'll see once things get back to normal and they resume the storylines.
Vince McMahon might not, yeah. Well, during the break, it might not even matter what Vince McMahon probably thinks.
Well, yeah, I'm saying once they get back to normal, we'll see where they resume with the booking. Yeah. Moving on to Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn, basically one half here of the match from WrestleMania 34 minus KO and Shane McMahon. I thought this was once again good technical, solid wrestling that you got from these two, as you expect. A lot of shenanigans going outside. It was quite noisy actually. Reminded me kind of almost the atmosphere you get with the AEW empty arena shows and everything, so that definitely helped at it, being that there's no crowd. But the big thing here is Sami Zayn picked up the win, so I'm happy for Sami Zayn too. As long as he's been in his company, he finally gets a big WrestleMania moment, retains the Intercontinental Championship, and I kind of figured Daniel Bryan was gonna be leaving on this because even if WWE did continue on with his shows afterwards, if you've heard what Brie Bella has already made public about how much of a huge risk Daniel Bryan is at for the virus, that is basically why Daniel was most likely going to be taking time off for this. Plus, he's got a newborn he's expecting very soon. So overall, I thought this was a good way, a great way for Daniel Bryan on his way out for a bit to hand something over to Sami Zayn and give him a big moment. So yeah, I'm very well pleased with how things ended up for this one. Anything you'd like to go ahead and add on about this match, SMP?
Yeah, I kind of liked it. It was a solid match, at least for how like Sami Zayn and everybody have been booked. It was pretty solid. I felt like that they could go on the distance, but you could only do with what you get. I kind of liked it. It was pretty good. It had a lot of character with it. Because you had a lot of like characters with like Cesaro, and Nakamura, and Drew Gulak in the mix of it. But for all, it was pretty good. They got like a bit of like some decent holds for Daniel Bryan with the stuff. So yeah, of course we all knew like Daniel Bryan wasn't gonna go away with the title because he already unfortunately said that he was going to take a break after like Mania.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say that it's pretty good. I kind of like it, like that Daniel Bryan is able to like reinvent himself after the whole like Yes movement and the Earth thing, and then going back to like being a face, but he still like had that whole like grappling thing. So I like how like he's able to reinvent himself, not only himself, but like his whole skill set stuff. So he's able to show that he's still a formidable opponent, even if he's not doing like high flying, risk taking stunts anymore after like his comeback. So yeah, whatever he does with his stuff, he could still like call it quits and still like have like a formidable career. Or he could take a break and just come back as like, you know, an in and out talent. So yeah, it was pretty good, you know, and I hope that they advance. I just hope they advance Sami Zayn so he could have even more like good matches and better matches and not just, you know, just be like the goofy or be like a big old character. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, hopefully they give him a nice little reign with the Intercontinental title once things go back to normal. Man, 0001, anything you want to add on to this match before we move on to our next?
Man, I'm looking at this match and I look at this match and I can't help to think this match has a lot of, has a, you know, in a weird way, you know, it has a JBL versus Chris Benoit vibe to it, you know? From WrestleMania 22.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it has a JBL versus Chris Benoit type vibe to it when I look at it and I see it, and you know what I mean, with the heel coming out as the victor over over the former Intercontinental Champion himself. You know, so that's the kind of vibe I get from this, because it's definitely has one of those types of feels. It's like when you look at it, you know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of Rick Rude getting one over on Ultimate Warrior. You know, so it's just like, it's one of those things where,
a little bit.
you know what I mean? It's one of those things where the heel comes out the victor in the mid-card title match. So yeah, you know, so definitely I'm pleased with what I got here. I'm pleased with what I got here. It felt like, you know, pleased with what I got here, and definitely Sami Zayn was the right choice. If the rumors are true that Daniel Bryan is taking time off, then I'm glad. I'm definitely pleased with what I got here.
Oh yeah, definitely doing a good favor for Sami on the way out for sure. Let's move on to what I think in terms of in-ring work was probably the best match of the night. And that's Kofi Kingston versus Jimmy Uso versus John Morrison for, yes, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. In terms of just the way they set up this match, they just announced it out of nowhere, basically. But for those of us that follow what was going on, is that The Miz was starting to feel sick, and so they had to go ahead and put this match down into a triple threat match, so each guy representing their team. Man, this match right here, and I said it when we were watching it, this is exactly what they talk about when you hear superstars go all out, whether there's no one in the audience or there's 100,000 people out there. These three guys busted their butts tonight and put on a show. They took some big risks in this match, and even though there's no crowd, I thought these guys just did a great job. Much respect to them. Some of the stuff we were doing, what we saw, like the shooting, what was it, was it Starship Pain? I forget if I said it right, from John Morrison with Jimmy Uso on the ladder. We saw this cool spot where Kofi jumped off the ropes onto the ladder with John Morrison, turned it into a Hurricane Rana. We saw John Morrison do a full tightrope on the ropes. I mean, we just saw a lot of cool, crazy stuff in this match. Definitely something I recommend going back watching. It would have been awesome had there been a crowd there. They would have been oohing and ahhing even from the first part of the match when both guys were flipping, exchanging flips and stuff and things like that. I really enjoyed this, but I'm glad that even the finish was unique. Now, I think Jimmy Uso was the first to unhook the titles, but you have to take the titles off, I guess, guess, in order to win it. And it was John Morrison who grabbed both of them on his way down or something like that, or it fell down and he grabbed him when he was on the canvas. I'm glad John Morrison gets the win here because he's the freshest out of everyone in terms of being back. John Morrison gets a big WrestleMania win, so great for him. I enjoyed him in the Miz's little more rap music they did, or little rap video they did on the teams and stuff. So they're a very entertaining duel and everything. So I'm glad to see Morrison pick up the win here, and we'll see where things go when things go back to normal. But yeah, this definitely, in terms of what was going on in the ring, was the best match. I was completely invested even without a crowd there. SMP, what were your thoughts on the ladder match?
It was very good. It was like number 2 and like the best match of the night. Of course, you know, they put like the best workers in. You know, you have one half of the Usos, you know, Jimmy Uso, which he's good. You know, both Usos are good, but you have one half of the Usos. You have John Morrison. He's good with aerial attacks. And then you had Kofi Kingston, who was on his second match of WrestleMania match of the year. So he was like one of the best matches of last month's WrestleMania. He's one of the best matches on this WrestleMania. And it's for like tag team. So they made do with what they got. They made the best of what they got. You know, they actually made lemonade. They actually took the lemons and they not only made lemonade, they made like the I guess Minute Maid lemonade, or like the good lemonade that they have like on like the pop aisle. Y'all know if you go grocery shopping.
No. Not only did they make lemonade, not only did they take the lemons and make lemonade, they took the lemons and they made lemonade. They opened up a lemonade stand and they made money in this fucking match. Since that's the fuck I
Old
saw.
Country Lemonade. I think that's what it's called. Old Country Lemonade.
Yeah, they made some. They went in this match and they opened up a damn lemonade stand. With all types of different types of lemonade. Don't you know how Forrest Gump and Bubble had their shrimp idea? You see, this time around they had all types of lemonade. Mike's Hard lemonade.
They made the lemon empire, then sold it to Apple and stuff.
Let's see. But Apple became no. Apple sold to them. That's what happened. Now Apple is lemon now.
Hey, let's finish here what SMP had to say about the match, though. We'll get to you, man.
Like I was saying, that it was good, and then like they was like saying, "Hey guys, go out there and do the best they can." I wish there was tables in the match because I felt like that would have been good. That would have been a good enough pop, but they made best with what they got. They made good with what they got, and you know, even though they was trying to put themselves in a corner with like the ending that they have, but then they advanced it by making it like, okay, all 3 of them took it out the hook, but nobody took the titles off the actual set. And that's what John Morrison did, and then won. And I got to commend Miz and Morrison before like I'm done talking about this match, because I feel like that this match, as well as like when Miz did like the Shane McMahon thing, I said that this like storyline is like one of like Miz's probably favorite storylines of this time so far, because when he got back together with Morrison, you could literally see like the chemistry, and you could literally see them actually have fun with it, with like the promos and everything. Like they go together even better than when they did during the Dirt Sheet era. Days.
Nice. Yeah, we still got a few matches to get to. I thought you made some great points, SMP. Mantra, was there anything you want to add on about the ladder match before we move on?
Oh man, go watch it yourselves, man. That's all I got to say. Go watch it yourselves and then come back to me and tell me what you think about it. So anything I got to say wouldn't do it justice. The only thing that needed to happen was it needed to happen in the Tokyo Dome so Dave Meltzer can give it 6 million stars.
All right, let's move on to Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Pretty sure, even before the whole pandemic happened, this was probably not what their whole plan. They had been building this up since right after Survivor Series, but between Joe getting injured and then suspended, and then one of the AOPs getting injured, and then Buddy Murphy Murphy getting injured and the pandemic. Like, it just ended up coming down to Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, which is a match we've seen before, but this time the roles were reversed. Kevin Owens is the babyface, Seth Rollins as the heel. But I thought the promos leading up to this was really strong, especially by Seth Rollins, and then you had Kevin Owens once again as well. And the match so far I thought was a good solid match. But when they did the part with the what was it, the ring bell, I'm like, that's how they're gonna finish? The crowd would have booed the crap out of this. Thankfully, Seth Rollins, instead of just walking away with his victory, decided to go, you know what, I'm gonna fall for the baby faces trick and I'm gonna accept this match because I probably got him beaten down enough. So this match goes into no DQ basically, and this is where the match really stepped up. I thought you had some really insane crazy spot here where Seth Rollins is on, he rings his doorbell, or he rings his bell twice with the ring bell, gets him onto the announcer's table, and then they had this big WrestleMania sign behind the commentators, which no doubt was going to be used for the stage. And the way they edited it together, because WrestleMania was taped, they cut it quick for whatever reason. It seemed like Kevin Owens was right there at the bottom and then did instant transmission right onto the top of the sign. He got up there quick. And then from there, he did a huge flying elbow drop. He definitely got some good distance, launched himself, looked spectacular, and crushed Rollins right there. Looked epic. And then he threw him back in, hit him with a stunner. Seth Rollins was so worn out, he couldn't flop around like a fish as we were used to seeing The Rock do from this classic stunners, selling of the stunners from back in the day. And KO gets the win, and finally gets a big, huge win at WrestleMania. So good night. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn both getting their WrestleMania moments on the same night. How poetic was that? And Seth Rollins, he's had so many huge WrestleMania moments already and everything. So no doubt he could afford the loss here. So yeah, I definitely say once you get to the no DQ portion of the match, things really stepped up. I enjoyed it, got a great result, gives KO a big moment. That's all I gotta say about this match. And it gave us, even though there's no crowd there, it gave us a memorable moment, and that's what we want. We want memorable moments from WrestleMania, and I think even though the crowd wasn't there, props to these guys for still doing it. Man, Triple 01, anything you want to add about this match?
Oh boy. You can ring my bell, ring my bell.
Hey, you just took my joke, man.
Ring my bell, ring my bell. All right. What do I think about this match? This match right here, it's a pretty good match. Definitely something we've seen before. The roles reversed. You know, Seth Rollins doing his best job, his best work as a heel again. You know, this right here is a role that's more natural to him.
I know you weren't a fan of his entrance gear.
Huh?
I know you weren't a fan of his entrance gear when we were watching this with our friends via Google Hangouts.
Oh boy, hell yeah! So you know, definitely his best work. Of course, I mean he knows how to get heel. He knows what he's doing. He walked out of the house with that shirt on. He knew what it was when he saw earlier that day. He knew exactly what it was. He knew he was wearing his grandmama's church button-down shirt. That's what he was wearing. He looked like a member from John Cena's choir from WrestleMania 27. He knew what he was doing. But
he looks like Jim Jones before he gave everybody the punch.
Yeah.
What were you about to say about the match, though?
But yeah, this match right here was pretty good. A lot of good storytelling. You know, I mean, you know, definitely a lot of people, a lot of peripheral people, a lot of outside people got injured on the lead up to this match, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I'm just like, hey, you know what I mean? Well, it's just like this right here is the match that I wanted to see to begin with. So for me, it was just like blessing in disguise. See, came right through. So I got what I wanted. I wanted to see KO versus Seth Rollins. I think this right here is definitely what it needed. You needed WrestleMania. You needed WrestleMania to end with the, you needed WrestleMania to end with the bad guy losing this time around. Seth Rollins, like you said earlier, he did have a lot of great WrestleMania moments, but this right here had to be KO's WrestleMania moment. I mean,
for sure.
Like, definitely the last Mania moment KO had was defeating Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 33 a few years ago. A lot of people don't remember that match, you know, but I was there live, and so was you, the SonGoshuaku. So
Yep.
definitely but definitely that was the last time he had a WrestleMania moment. I mean, after that, what did he do the next year? You know, you know what I mean? You know, lost to Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. The year after that, was he? Let's see. The year after that,
I don't think that.
Wasn't even on it. I don't think so. Yeah, I think he was still injured and still recovering. So definitely KO. Definitely needed. He definitely needed a win at WrestleMania for sure. You know what I mean? You got two former Universal champions, two former United States and Intercontinental champions going at it, and seeing it, you know, and having those two go at it in this match right here is, you know, from you know what I mean? They went from arenas that barely had anybody in there to now being an arena that has nobody in there. But still, this was an impressive showing from two grizzled vets at this point in time. Yeah, so I give them, two big ups, you know, to both of these guys. Definitely, they put on a show. But Seth Rollins needs to stop wearing his grandmama's church robe to WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I mean. And then going out there and getting his ass whooped. I mean, I'm pretty sure Grandmama Rollins doesn't appreciate that.
All right, SMP. What would you like to add on about the match?
I like to say we should not freaking take shots at people's families on this, as we saw that doesn't work out. Undertaker will be very disappointed at you, man.
Don't worry, I'm from the South Side.
Yeah. But you know, shout out for Seth Rollins to remind us all how we looked like at our baptism and first communion.
Yeah,
but
don't worry.
The first half of the match, the first half of the match was okay, but this almost was about to be a rant match, if not for like the twist at the end.
Oh yeah.
Because after like he hit him over the head with it, and like they was like, oh, he's disqualified. Kevin Owens went. I was like, they can't be ending it like this. But then they did turn it around, and Kevin Owens was like, F that, you know. Are you really gonna just walk out of here and say you're the best after doing that punk move? No, let's start this all over again. This is no disqualification. Of course, because, you know, Seth Rollins is now like the savior of Raw. You know, he's the god of the WWE. He said, yeah, we'll do the match. Went in. They fought. And that was like the second half made up for like the first half, which was good. Kevin Owens did like the spot of the night. And that was pretty good, you know. So he won solid. So this is like the first match he won solid as a babyface. And it was pretty good. It was a good match. I said the second half was a good match. You know, after we got over the fact of, you know, him being like the cult leader that he was before he marries Becky Lynch, and probably bring her into like the cult faction, and then make, you know, Tiger King Part 2. We have a very solid, decent match. So yeah, I said that this was like the third match, the third good match of like the night after like the second part. Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely say it sounds like I was the only one that actually enjoyed Rollins' entrance gear. I have actually loved the whole Messiah gimmick that he's been doing. Nice way to
I feel like it would have been bigger if there was like a crowd.
Pressure. Oh yeah, for sure. The crowd heat would have been awesome. But let's move on to what I think hands down is the weakest match, and probably will be the weakest match of the show once tomorrow night is done airing. Goldberg defending the Universal Championship against Braun Strowman. There was no explanation given for why the change. They didn't even really bring up the real life explanation for this. To me, this match was simple. It was the let's just get it over and done with match. I knew Roman was going to most likely end up winning against Goldberg. There's no way. Like, honestly, if WWE most likely wasn't going to go on a hiatus during this pandemic, I'm assuming why would Goldberg probably want to continue coming in, because, you know, honestly, he's made so much money already. He's very wealthy. Most likely probably just there to do the honor of the favor, basically, and pass the Universal title on. So that's what I was thinking this whole time. As far as the match itself, you know, the logic is all kind of screwed up in terms of story, because Braun Strowman, they had him job to Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. They've had this guy lose to Brock Lesnar, and even though he's gotten some clean victories over Roman more often than not, I think Roman has defeated him more times. So, you know, you have him in this match. They basically spam spear, and it was basically spear versus the running power slam all through the match. And I was thinking that because that, and this is what I'll bring up as an advantage when we get to the main event, I actually thought maybe this match between Goldberg and Roman would be pretty good, or even now with the Strowman match, because you have a great advantage to take where there's no audience being recorded. I'm like, oh, you know, to work around Goldberg's limitations as a performer now, basically, because he can't do the power moves based on what we saw in the match with the Fiend as well as he used to. So I thought, oh, you know, they might make something real special here, but no, they kind of had it played out, I think, the way we thought it would all play out, and Strowman wins and he gets the Universal Championship. Finally, I feel like this should be a much bigger deal, because finally this guy gets it, but it really just feels thrown together, because it was thrown together. But you know what? Despite, I know Strowman has some very controversial statements, and I don't agree with it, honestly, and everything like that, with what he said in terms of the, like, I do agree in terms of, like, yeah, working hard and everything to get yourself, you know, out of something and get there. But in this current time, with the pandemic, a lot of people cannot help the situations that they were put in. This was completely out of their control. So for the most part, like I'm saying, I don't agree with Strowman's comments. But as a performer, this man has deserved to have the Universal Championship for a long time, and WWE, I felt, always screwed him over. He gets the championship here. It doesn't feel right. Like I said, it is thrown together. All I can say, this is what it is. But hey, Strowman is the Universal Champion. But as much as I would love to say that hopefully they'll finally go ahead on a nice long reign with this guy, probably not. He's probably holding on. They probably just gave him the title so they can have it on a new member, because they don't know if they're going to be able to get Goldberg back. And once things get back to normal, this is him just probably being a transitional champion for Roman Reigns. But personally, I would have wished they never took the title off of the Fiend, and wish they kept the title on the Fiend. That's how I feel about this. Man 0001, let's hear you, because I know you are no fan of Goldberg.
Good. Fuck him. Glad they got the belt off of him. Shouldn't have had it on the big. Shouldn't have had the belt on him to begin with. Couldn't have gotten off of him sooner. If it was my choice, I'd take it off of him. WWE 2K20 style, just delete his whole title run and put it on
took
someone
that controller, spam L1 like the old SmackDown games
L1,
over and over and over.
L1.
That's all I can think of. Is L1. That's all I can think of. Spamming those finishers, and yeah, you know what I mean? I'm sort of glad that Braun Strowman got the title. I mean, he should have got it a while ago, but then again, you know, looking at his recent comments about indie wrestlers and saying stuff like that, that's not something you should say, you know, about people who, you know, who've had their means of being able to provide for themselves and their families snatched away from them due to a circumstance that was way beyond their control. It's not like they can go out there, put on your gear and show up to an arena and be like, fuck that Rona. I'm gonna go start. I'm gonna go wrestle anyway. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So these are people who, you know, through no fault of their own, couldn't control this circumstance. So Braun Strowman should definitely apologize for that, and he should definitely fall back on that shit. You know what I mean? Instead of going ahead and talking about these guys looking for a handout, no, they're trying to keep food on the table. They're trying to keep some bills paid and a roof over their head,
Yeah.
you know?
You got to always try to humble yourself, even when you reach the top, because you got to know the hardships it took to go to the top.
Yeah, because that could be that top spot could be snatched from you real quick. You could be in Randy Orton shoes back in '04 and find out, the bottom could drop out real quick,
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where you line on the political spectrum or anything else. You should have some empathy and some compassion, especially when you're dealing with people who are in the same industry that you're in. You know what I'm saying? That could very easily could have been you. Had they given up on you after the whole Wyatt family thing fell apart, that easily could have been you. That easily could have been you this weekend. I could have lost out because that easily could have been you. You are able to work this weekend because you just happen to be in the right company and the right place at the right time. That's it. You are not. You know what I mean? Because because when you're an entertainer, or you're a sports athlete, you're not an essential worker. It's not like you're out there and you're still able to make a living, Yeah,
so he mentioned himself he wasn't getting paid because they weren't having him part of the WrestleMania storyline until now. So yeah. You made an excellent point, man. 0001 SMP. Let's move on to you before we move on to our main event here. Anything you want to add on?
Yeah. Well, first I'd like to commend man for saying everything that everyone was thinking and stuff. And if anybody ever be in like a position where they're very successful, it's best to be a big brother and a big sister than, just go on a tangent and stuff. Because like you said, anybody could be that position. Now everybody's in that position right now, unless like, you're working in a job where they actually need you. Yeah. But to get to the match and not personal stuff, I felt bad for Braun, honestly. I felt bad because he's literally just a placeholder until like everything gets back to normal and it's safe for Roman to come back and get the title. So it's like you want to congratulate him, but it's not like that it's not like they pick him to be the guy to hold the title. He's just holding it until Roman comes in and then takes it. Which also sucks now because it's like we got another Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns match for the Universal title. We've seen this thousands of times. We've seen him turn heel thousands and thousands of times. It
ain't gotten the Big Show way yet where they have him flip-flopping.
He's now the Big Show. Now I'm going to just have to wait another 15 or 20 years until he gets his own sitcom and stuff. Here's Braun Strowman with Braun Strowman in the hands. Braun Strowman get these hands cooking show. That's what it's going to be like. But as for the match, it was the most spamish one move. Look, anybody that made fun of John Cena's moves and stuff, at least he tries to like advance throughout the times with his moves set. You literally saw like 3 moves from these guys. Spears, body slam, and jackhammer. That's it. Nothing else.
There you go. You call the whole match.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
Yeah, I think everybody. We're gonna move on to the main event here, but I think everybody made some good points. And it's just the thing with these matches. Honestly, we've seen Roman and Strowman have some epic brawls back and forth.
2.
So like we know Strowman's capable of much more and everything. But like I said, this match truly felt like let's just get it over and done with. But let's move on to the main event, gentlemen. Here, it has been a long time since I could say this. Yes. I think since WrestleMania 29, I have not been able to say a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania stole the show. And honestly, I wanted my sports entertainment. I wanted my theatrics. And man, did I get it in this match. The Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a boneyard match. This was epic. From the music, the presentation. I enjoyed this match. The trash talking. We had Undertaker coming on out in the on the motorcycle. We had AJ Styles in street clothes. And you know what? The thing is, when you get matches that are this personal, it feels just very appropriate for it to be somewhere on the street at some location. Just two guys who are gonna say, you know, forget being in the ring, forget the lights, the glitz, the glamour, forget even being in front of an audience. Me and you, we've made this personal. As Undertaker said, we want to get real, let's get real. They got real right here in a cemetery, a boneyard match. I loved it, everything about the match. And this is where I was talking about how given the Undertaker's limitations that we've seen in the ring over the years, this is I mean, shoot, they freaking got looks like a documentary they're talking about, where they were advertising how a lot of his fellow peers felt that Taker should probably give it up, basically, and everything. So we know, and Taker even acknowledged it in the promos. Getting this hybrid version of the Undertaker's biker gimmick with his dead man persona mix, I thought was very good at this stage of his career. And they were fighting at it. They were going at it. They took full advantage of, you know, Taker probably being able to get some rest in between takes here. Just full theatrics. They went with it. We got choke slams off this warehouse. Anderson and Gallows interfering. We got theatrics of light. Taker bringing the lights out, teleporting when you thought AJ was gonna bury him. Great trash talking. Music was good. They changed the music up depending on what was going on. At the end, though, AJ, a lot of people throw this term around a lot, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Styles got buried in this match. Literally buried in this match. They were dragging it out towards the end. I'm thinking, okay, Taker's taking way too much time, but no, he threw AJ in there, and Taker actually buried someone. I don't even remember many times that Undertaker won a buried alive match. Or, I mean, yeah, he won the one with Mankind, but ended up getting buried. And then I think he buried Mankind in the tag team match on SmackDown one time, but that was about it. But yeah, Taker wins the buried alive match and drives on off. This match was entertainment. I enjoyed. This is sports entertainment at its finest. I really enjoyed it. It looks like a lot of fans enjoyed this match. What can I say? This probably much stole the show here, and it was a great way to end it. I would have loved AJ to get his win, but I kind of just felt the way they were doing the matches. And shout out to Aaron Riff of No DQ, who mentioned that it was probably going to be WrestleMania is probably going to be a very heavy babyface show, because they're going to want to give a lot of people something to smile about. They're going to want the good guys to go over during the current pandemic that we're in right now. But despite that, AJ Styles at least has been established, so I guess, yes, he can take the loss here, because AJ Styles has definitely had a very Hall of Fame career the past 4 years, and they did the thing with the rubber hand with the AJ Styles glove poking out of the dirt. It's just funny in these buried alive matches when Taker rides off. I call it to this day, the cameramen and women in WWE are the most sadistic bunch in the WWE storylines, because they just stood there documenting it all, just constantly getting that close-up of AJ Styles' hand in the dirt, not even caring to get the man, just leaving him buried. Just like when Jim Ross was set on fire, they just let the man get on fire and didn't even do anything. But yeah, I love the whole theatric. This is very well done. I thought it was much better than the House of Horrors match they've done. I'm interested to see what they do with Cena tomorrow night. They ended up shooting with the Cena and Bray Wyatt match, but yeah, this match was a fun blast. Really enjoy it. And honestly, if maybe you do Undertaker's matches like this, maybe we can get another 10 years out of them. But yeah, I enjoyed the match. It was good. Great. Just everyone involved with this. This was great. I enjoyed it. I can't say enough good things about this. I think this was memorable, and this is something we definitely will remember for years to come. Man, 0001, anything you want to add on about this boneyard match?
Dead man walking.
rolling.
Yeah, I wanted Rollins to hear that too.
Yeah. Oh man, I got what I wanted out of this match. Undertaker with a whole lot of one-liners, a lot of funny words being said in this match. I got what I wanted out of this. Let's see. That'd be funny if AJ Styles asked Undertaker, "Hey Taker, what are you doing? What am I doing? What do you think I'm doing? I'm whooping your ass. That's what I'm doing."
I'm kicking your ass.
AJ did a number on Taker when he went through we pushed him through the what was that big gate or whatever. Taker was breathing super heavy for several minutes. Like, fantastic selling by Taker.
I mean,
Taker's always been
that was
selling.
Amazing.
But yeah, I'm definitely got what I want out of this match. seeing the Undertaker do a lot of his greatest hits in this match, and it's like definitely I definitely go recommend seeing it. It was more of a sports entertainment, special effects heavy match. I got to see a lot of the stuff out there. He says, "You done good, boy. You done good." And then he pushed him in the inside. Then he put him inside the.
When he was hugging AJ and walked back and then elbow. He's like, "Nah."
Yeah.
Big
it's like watching the.
Yeah.
It's like watching the. It's like seeing what would happen if one of the biker gangsters from Sons of Anarchy would be possessed by possessed by the same thing that possessed Jason Voorhees. Yeah, that's what it was like. You see Gallows and Anderson get their ass whooped too, and then AJ got choke slammed off the top of a building, off of a small shed or something, and then the Druids came out. What was they doing there? I don't know.
Oh yeah, when they turned on Taker. Yeah.
Come on now, the Druids gonna turn on us?
NXT wrestlers need work too.
Yeah, they were probably NXT wrestlers.
About them. Let's see. Now I'm just playing. I care. It's just like, man, it's just like, yeah, but still, though, I mean, come on now. You got Druids turn on them. Like, what was the point of that? Undertaker might not be around much longer. Yeah, but definitely, I'm glad to see American Badass Undertaker come back because, man, this is because this right here and the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker are my favorite ones.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just like seeing that happen. So. Definitely having the American Badass Undertaker come back. That was fun. I wish he would have administered some more beatdowns. You know what I'm saying? On the road to WrestleMania, heading into this match. Kind of like what he did to David Flair and Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Let's see. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get back at him. So I see you like talking about families and loved ones, huh? Let's see. Well, let's see. Don't you got a wife too?
Work out too well for Samoa Joe.
I wish he would have been that savage in that, because that would have been.
Oh yeah. But hey, great points, man. 001. Before we wrap up the podcast review, SMP, anything you want to add on about the main event for night one?
Well, first I gotta give a shout out to like all like the 80s type of promos and venues, and also to like the Hardys, because if they didn't do that thing that match they did like 3 years ago, I believe, then they wouldn't come up with that type of idea, because that was very good. I think that was good in the original concept they probably had before, like all like the hoopla. That was very, very entertaining and very good. You had the American Badass one, which like a lot of people wanted to see from like 2 WrestleManias ago, but didn't get to see. They had the and then they just made it where it was just very entertaining, where you could get the mystique, and you could make the Undertaker look like a badass, where like a lot of people was worrying about, because given like his age, he could do a good hits, but he can't go like he did with Shawn Michaels and like he did with like Shawn Michaels, and when he did like in like the mid 00 days, when he was like the face of like SmackDown at the time. You know what I'm talking about, right? So a lot of people was like, okay, you putting him with Styles, but it's like he can't go like he used to. But in here, since like it was like off location spot and it was kind of like entertaining stuff, you get to show him be like a badass and stuff. You had a story where he could bring in the American Badass, because it was kind of like personal, because now you're breaking the fourth wall. Now you're not just getting at Undertaker, you're getting at Mark Calloway, and you're getting at the man. So now not only he's going to give you the man, but he's also going to give you a little bit of the mystique, and then you have it where he was pretty much like a badass action hero, man.
Oh yeah.
And it was good, and everybody was loving it, and it was pretty awesome. Then you also made it where you didn't make AJ Styles look like a punk and stuff. Unfortunately, you made like Gallows and Anderson like that, but they're getting a check out at the end of the day. So but still, it was very good. It was good. It was a good match, and it was a match for a long time where we actually see Undertaker actually win a buried alive match.
Oh yeah.
So I liked it. It was good. It was like one of the best matches of the night. And this goes on to the top where it's like, you know, if he was to quit and stuff, it's like, okay, now we got both like the dead man and we got the badass as like the matches. He could go off and he could do other stuff with his workings, and we all be fine. We got entertained, and we see you every now and then.
Yeah, and you know, I just hearing everybody just constantly say there was just so many moments in this match that was awesome. I forgot to even mention Undertaker came out to Metallica, Now That We're Dead.
Yeah.
I would have still preferred to hear him come out to Rollin' from Limp Bizkit. That was my favorite Taker theme of that time, but that was really cool. Metallica and Undertaker worked really great. Look back at WrestleMania 28 when they had the Memories Remain. That was good. I thought AJ Styles' troll at the beginning when we thought that was Undertaker coming out. That was great.
You know how much heat and pop that would have gotten if it was like,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
like you just see it and then he just comes out and then you just hear I Am Phenomenal theme on, and then he just walks out like, hi, I got all of you.
Yeah, that was great.
Like I said, that's why it's sad that like there wasn't that live event energy feel, because everybody would have like had, because you would have had a pop in like a lot of events, but still they may do what they got with this event, you know. And like we say, in a personal setting, I would say, if you guys have friends and stuff, even though like we're in the social distance and you can't really be in the same room, you know, try to like get like a Google Hangouts or like a
Zoom
live
party,
chat
Skype, whatever. Yeah, use technology. That's what we did. We had a great time.
That's what we did. Because that's what we did. Shout out to the Two Sweet Cosplay guys for even like inviting us to that.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That's what like the whole thing is. Wrestling community is about. It's like, or like any like sports event or like small communities about. It's not just, you know, it's not just the product or the shows, because let's be honest, there's going to be several different shows. There's going to be several different wrestling properties. There have been before WWE. There possibly will be after WWE and AEW. It's about the peoples and like the feeling of it. So, which we want to bring hammer heavily during these times. It's about like the peoples that you communicate and you surround yourself with, you know. There's always going to be a lot of celebrations and gathering, but it's the people that you celebrate with. So if you can, it don't even have to be a WrestleMania. It don't have to be a wrestling event. It could be anything, you know. If you have like some spare time, you know, chat up with your peoples, chop it up, and have fun. And, you know, you could just enjoy certain things, even if in a distance. Now that we're blessed in a time where you could communicate in a distance, you know. You don't just have to be cooped up in a room, or you don't have to just do a regular regimen by yourself. You know, you just sit down like right now. You could even make your own podcast, and you could just sit down and you could just talk about it, and you could have that type of communication.
Well said, SMP. Well said. We'll go ahead and close the review from here. And, you know, overall, I think the big thing about this whole WrestleMania was giving all of us something to escape from reality and have something fun to sit down during this pandemic time that we're in right now. And my biggest concern with this Mania, I knew it wasn't going to have any audience, but I was hoping that the show would be memorable. And I felt like there were some memorable things. Like, I think when time goes on, this is going to look like the weirdest WrestleMania, the one WrestleMania with no crowd, but I'm going to look back on this and know, hey, there was actually some memorable moments on the show. And we're only halfway through the show. If the next show was as fun as tonight and could deliver, I think we have a really good, solid WrestleMania here that no doubt, had it been in front of the audience, would have been great. But we've gone right now almost an hour and 20 minutes as of this recording. So, hey, everyone, for the man 0001, SMP, and myself as well. You can follow all our social medias, as you can see on the screen, as well as the links will be in the description below. We'll be back tomorrow night for the WrestleMania 36 Night 2 review. Until then, take care, everybody.